It is my pleasure to welcome you today on behalf of Deloitte on the occasion of the annual Transatlantic Trade and Investment Partnership event. As we all know, the TTIP is an enabler of growth and jobs on both sides of the Atlantic, and it represents a key document to remove trade barriers between both economic zones. Transatlantic relations have historical, cultural, political, and social aspects. The joint path embodied by the TTIP improves market access, regulatory coherence and cooperation, but also allows enhancing cooperation when implementing international standards. As a foreseeable consequence, it will therefore continue to help consolidate a much-desired economic peace and security, as well as innovation and health for our societies. I would like to highlight the role of the organizer, the American Chamber of Commerce in Luxembourg, on supporting the strong relations between the United States and Luxembourg by reinforcing communications and exploring new opportunities. This event is an example of it. We're looking forward to the speakers' views on how they believe the transatlantic trade and investment bonds will develop and continue to evolve in a moment of new dynamics, where new consensus is needed. The US and Europe are the two of the largest democratic free trade zones in the world. For this reason, healthy trade and investment relations are essential for economic growth on both sides of the Atlantic. As we face challenging and transformational times in a highly competitive landscape, the recent US elections results will likely impact global trade and tariffs in the next 4 years. In this regard, we are looking forward to hearing from the speakers what is in prospect. I would like to invite now Mr. Paul Schonenberg, President of the AmCham, for the opening remarks. And once again, on behalf of Deloitte, I wish you fruitful discussions today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Francisco. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for going ahead and coming tonight. Weather's not that great outside. There are other places you could be, and we're delighted that you're here with us today, this evening. You know, since we finished with the US election, there have been an increasing amount of talk about what's going to happen. And on your way out today, after listening to what you will hear tonight, take one of the books with you, because every year the Federation of American Chambers of Commerce in Europe does a study of transatlantic trade between America and Europe. They do it at a macro level, of America to Europe and vice versa. They also do it at a state level, and they do it at a country level. So tonight you will hear from my good friend from AmCham EU all the details of this year's analysis. What we do is that all of the American chambers in Europe get together and they do an annual analysis of transatlantic trade. It's done by 2 professors from Johns Hopkins University and a group of interns who are working with them. And there are 5 AmChams in Europe that pay for this study. Now, we happen to be one of them. Now, Luxembourg is a bit small and compared to some of the other countries, and by the same token, we in AmCham and Luxembourg are not necessarily gigantic either. But we think that free trade is really important for Luxembourg, so we wanted to be involved in the process, and we're therefore one of the 5 countries that go ahead and pays for the study every year. And since we're paying for the study, then I had no problem going to my friends at AmCham EU and say, hey guys, we're putting money on the table. It's not that long a trip, and we'll pay for your hotel room. Can't we get you to come on down here and share it with our audience? And oh, by the way, we have a third of the EU bureaucracy in Luxembourg by the same token too, as well as an enormous outsized international business community. So they're very gracious to go ahead and come down here to, Mr. Dorsey is a good friend of mine. He's very good at this. He's very kind to go ahead and come down here. But we're also a good audience for them because we have a big business community. We have a lot of EU bureaucrats, and we're not that far a drive, or not that far a train ride to go ahead and get here. I thank my friend from Deloitte for his warm introduction, and I have to comment that he said the better part of two-thirds, which I was going to say, which means that we can get on with this all moving along at a little bit of a better pace. The first thing we're going to do is I went 6 weeks ago to see the Deputy Prime Minister, gave him a copy of the report, and said we were going to do this event here tonight, and asked him if he would be kind enough to come and join us to hear the results. He said that he was very kind, very much appreciated the invitation, but he was going to be in Davos. And he was going to be in Davos just after having gotten back from being in China. And so, quick on my feet, I said, okay, but how about a video? And he said that he would be delighted, and he was happy that I suggested it so that he could stay in the game by going ahead and addressing us. So we're going to have the Deputy Ambassador, and then it's absolute my honor after that to go ahead and introduce our outstanding and much appreciated American Ambassador. And then we will have one more video connection, and that will be with New York to Luke Decker, who has moved from being the deputy at the Ministry of Economy over to New York to be the counselor commercial counselor in New York City. And then you get to hear the heart and the guts and all the details of this. And if you noticed, we have the Deloitte Square football microphone that we can toss around, so we have time for lots of Q&A before we go ahead and then do some networking and doing some drinks. So, ladies, if you'll be kind enough, we're all ready for Mr. Bettel.